On this little T100 here in 1996, and Meryl and I, this is one of the first cars we ever bought together. It's a T100. It has over 200,000 miles on it now. It got pretty hot yesterday, and I hope we didn't lose the engine, but I've got to change valve cover gaskets on this. As you can see, they've been leaking for a while. The valves on these things, you have to grind the valves stems to adjust them. We've got a creeper out here. We've got our oil. It's four-wheel drive. I'll try to take you down here and see if I can show some of these things to you. It has real U-joints in it, and much of the steering mechanism you can grease. Let's see if I can get this down here where you can see some of this. There's the oil filter there. It has a cover down here. We took that off so you can get to things easier, a little more easily. It's got a steering stabilizer on it. It has new shocks and struts and everything on it. There's the four-wheel drive mechanism back there. It's got a split U-joint with a carrier bearing in it, as you can see down there. All of those U-joints and slip joints and everything there you can grease. There is the oil pan there, and there is the oil pan for the transmission. I always put a screen in front of the radiator here. On everything, I get a window screen, metal one, and I put it on the front of it. It keeps the bugs out of that, and that'll make your life much easier than having to get them out of there. I've got to go get the oil drain pan, and we'll be draining the oil out of it. It's leaking water from some reason, or for some reason. It either blew a hole someplace that I don't know about, or maybe a freeze plug. I don't know. Something happened, and it got very hot. We kept doing maintenance on this thing very much. I usually keep a car forever. We've had this one for 30 years, basically, 29, nearly 30. It has the step side on it where you can step in a little more easily. I have a little smaller tires on this so Marilyn can get in and out of it easier. She drove us a lot down in the city, and so I put those steps on the side and put smaller tires on it so she could get in and out of it a little more easily. Let's see what we're looking at here. We're going to take that oil filter off up there. Sorry about all this shaking around on this camera here. I'm going to go get I've loosened the oil filter up also. Also, here's another trick that I'm a mechanic. I've been a mechanic forever. Here's a wrench. It's a 14 millimeters what this one takes. But you put it on there like that, and you get a little extra leverage if you use the wrench like this, if you can see that. And you've got an extra long handle there to help get it off, and this one was tight. So we'll drain the oil, put the filter on. I use gloves, these throwaway gloves, because that helps a little bit. That grease underneath your fingernails doesn't come out very easily. Now the engine is warmed up. I warmed the engine up. It's better that way. The oil drains a little faster and a little more easily. They tell you to do that. Let's see if I can get over here and get a different view of something. Hopefully, we're underneath this car, you know. Alright, we're going to pull this plug out of the oil pan with a 14mm wrench. We got another bucket here to drain the oil filter in. Always it's everything counterclockwise. It's lefty loosey, as they always say. Always counterclockwise when you're looking up at it. A lot of people, when they get underneath the car, they get all turned around. There we go, very dark oil. We'll get that bad oil out of there, and hopefully we can repair the engine. Always keep the washer on there. It has a copper washer on them usually, or some type of hard felt. Now we're going to take the oil filter loose. And we want to keep our plug there. I might be able to catch all of that with one hand. I don't know. We'll see here. This thing was very hard to get to when with that cover on the bottom, the skid plate. We haven't taken this one up here in the off the road very much. Got some heavier oil in this car than I do the other ones. I usually use 2040 or something like this, or 1040. Right up there, it's hard to get to when you're from above. Put that in there. See if I can find my bucket out here. Put my towel in it. I hope this is helping you. Mechanic work made easy. I've got to change the spark plugs in this also. They haven't been changed in 100,000 miles, but that's not unusual for a Toyota. And we'll clean the surface of this off up here where the oil filter is. I don't see any water coming out of there. That's good news, at least. I'll see if I can find an oil filter for this. I usually like to use Toyota oil filters on them, factory, OEM. And by the way, they're sometimes cheaper. Well, it's draining right out. Well, go get the oil filter now. So I'm going to move the camera back here, away. A little bit. this is a genuine Toyota oil filter. You can see they have changed these now where they've interchanged on quite a few cars. Most of all the new ones are cartridge. You have to take a canister off and take the cartridge out of it like they did in the 1930s and 40s. Makes it a little more difficult to service a car that way. And sometimes they do that on purpose. You'll get ready for this. So, I put a little hard grease on this, lube grease. I like it better than I do just pouring regular oil in them. Some people put oil in these also. Fill them partially up, but if your oil filter is working pretty good, it doesn't take very long to fill that up. We're going to put that on there now. Time to put the oil plug back in also. Now let's see if we can get this thing on there now. For a man, old man, almost 80 years old, I still do a lot of my own work. Start that left-handed. I'm left-handed, so that works better. Well, it's got some lube grease on the face of it. Sometimes they have square rings on them, a quad ring, and sometimes they have O-rings. This one has an O-ring. Now we're going to tighten it up there about 3/4 a turn past. Alright, now we're going to put our drain plug back in and wipe the surface off there. Wipe the drain plug. It's 14 millimeter, as I said earlier. I can't reach with my left hand, so I have to do it right-handed. $14 millimeter. Make sure you use the right wrench for these. Don't try to use a crescent wrench or something like that. You'll round off the drain plug and then you'll have to go buy another one. Alright, that's done. Oil filter's done. Now normally I would take and grease all the U-joints on this, but I will do them later. By the way, they've got all kinds of new grease guns now. You've got air grease guns and you've got electric grease guns, battery powered ones. And that makes it really a lot easier. I have the hand pumpers and I have the air, but I don't have a battery one. These blue towels work very nice. Wipe your wrenches off. And come back in your toolbox. And wipe this up here. We didn't get a lot of oil on the ground. Of course, now we don't have to put back the inspection plate back there, the skid bar or anything, because we don't have it on there right now. I do have them. They're right on. We've never taken this off the road up here too much. Tumbleweeds. We'll put our oil in there. See if this old friend of ours will run a little bit longer. When it got so hot the other day, I said if it started, I'd salute it, and I did. Because it started, I couldn't believe it. And I was 7 miles down the road, too. We'll pour some oil in this thing now. The oil was pretty dark. Get this thing back here now. You can see a little further. Squeeze all the swaying around here all over the place. There we go. See if I can make it go up a little bit further. Look at the old fellow. I don't know how much longer we're going to keep this thing on the road. I hope we can make it. I don't want to buy another car. I don't usually change cars unless I absolutely have to. Put a transmission in the other one. Now, let's see here. See if I can get this one a little more down here, maybe. Maybe not. All right, that's better, I think. Yes. Now we put oil in it. Get our oil funnel. Got our funnel here. Lock the inside of the funnel out. Hope it doesn't have any dust in it, so it's better. This will be better right here. Just camera around so I can see what I'm doing. Mobile 1 synthetic in the newer cars, but this one here had 50,000 miles on it when we got it. It wasn't very old, but it had some miles on it, so I did put synthetic oil in it, because it will make them leak. Used to work at Sunland Refinery, and we refined oil, of course. Some of the best diesel and gasoline in the country at that time, back in the 60s. And we tested oil. Castor oil was one of the best oils. One of the worst oils that we tested was Tim's oil, to tell you the truth. But I like Mobile 1 for the more modern cars. My other Tundra, I use castor oil in it also, because it had 200,000 miles when we got it. It was 2 years old. It had 200,000 miles on the tow truck. No, I didn't put synthetic oil in it either. That may have been what happened with this one. I think I might have put Tim's oil in it. Not Tim's oil, but synthetic oil in it. That's probably why it started leaking. I like the Mobile 1 synthetic. I even run that in some of the lawnmowers. Now we'll look and see what the oil looks like. And the stick, even though it's going to be wrong, we're going to have to let it down off of the jack stands. I jack it up like this very hard front because it's got a area there in front of the pan where it's lower, and you have to do that to get all the oil out of it. I think it's probably will take a little bit more. That didn't work out too good. Clean that little oil spill up. But we got to get it down flat on flat ground before I can top it off here. The old girl will start. Now the car is better on flatter ground than what it was before. If we got enough oil in it. Take some more. I usually cut off a small quart can and screw it in there. And that way it doesn't leak like this. Takes about 7 quarts of oil for these Toyota engines. They want plenty of oil in them. Just a little bit more, not much. I may have to drain it out anyway if I have to rebuild the engine or something. But at least it won't damage the bearings in it. The oil is burned up. More oil. We used 2 different viscosity oil. I had 2050. I wanted 1040 in it, so I put a little 1030 with it. Hopefully it'll end up being about 1040. Should do it. I think you can see the sun going down over the White Mountains. Montgomery Peak up there, we have fires in California, so we got a lot of smoke. That looks like it's just about perfect. There we go. Back on here. Normally I would change the oil filter, and the air filter, but like I said, I don't know what we're going to have to do with this, so I'm not going to change anything else except for the oil, because I want it to make sure that it's not going to, that oil got pretty hot and it'll break down, and so I didn't want to drive it at all with that oil in it, the filter, so maybe it'll save the bottom end of the engine. Maybe it'll save all of it. I don't know. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I want to do some more of these little bit mechanic work made easy. And we did that today. I always write down in the book when I change the oil, when anything happens, if I even fix a tire, have a tire flat, I write it down in my little ledger so I'll know what happened when. I had one car that I had for 1 million miles, and all it was down there When I traded it in, they didn't believe it. They said the car looks brand new and it's got 1,000,000 miles on it. They said, we don't believe it. And I said, here's all of the records right here. You got them. He looked at it and he said, it's got 1,000,000 miles on it. I said, yes, it does. Thank you for watching.